Hey guys, this is Matt with hydroponics.com, and today we're going to be talking about transplanting and some transplanting tips. And we're also going to be talking about some of the fabric pots, how they work, and also some of these beneficial fungus and root stimulators. So today, the first thing I would say is we'll talk about is going to be just smaller containers and using smaller containers and working your way up into your final container. So let's say you're going to finish at a 7. I'd recommend going something like a small cup to start out with something light like a Pro Mix or a soil, like a really light soil mixture, worm castings and Pro Mix even, or the Black Gold's a great one to start out with. If you're using cocoa or sunshine, just a small amount of cocoa or sunshine will do. This way you won't overwater or overfeed it. It's a lot easier to overwater something like this or overfeed something like this if you put a clone right into it than something like this. So I'd start with something like this small cup here, and then I'd work my way up into a 1 gallon or into a 2 gallon, and then I'd put my 2 gallon eventually into my 5 gallon or my 7 gallon. That will give you a little bit more vigor of growth. Sometimes when you put those small clones right into these large containers, you'll have somewhat of a slow growth to start out with. If you put it into a smaller container, you shouldn't really see as much of that. They'll kind of fill that container up quickly and be asking for the next size, and you can just kind of give it to them when they want it, and they'll really take off when they get to that next container size. So you can really keep the momentum going up until when you're ready to harvest or until you're ready to flip. Also, the guys that are using soil as their main fertilizer, starting out with something light and then go eventually adding, putting them into something very strong right before flower, maybe a week or 2 before flower. That will allow you not to have to feed very much bottle nutrients, 2 to 4 weeks into flower before you really have to start feeding them, bottle nutrients. So that's another way that you can use soil containers and sizing them from smaller to larger to, get you into flower with less bottle nutrients. The fabric pots, same thing. I would recommend going from smaller to larger. Some of the benefits of these fabric pots, the fabric pot allows a denser soil medium to dry out more evenly. So when you have that bottom 2/3 or bottom third of the pot staying wet on you and the top 2/3 getting dry, in these plastic pots that happens a lot with a really dense mix. You don't get that as much with these fabric pots just because the air can get to all around them. The root systems themselves grow a little bit differently. When they hit this air, they do what's called air pruning, and they kind of revert back into the soil medium and create more fibrous feeder roots than just continuing to make tap roots. So you actually get a little bit better root structure with these fabric pots. And a lot of people do say they get healthier, faster growth between these and the plastic. With the fabric pots, they are a little bit hard to transplant out of. A lot of times when you try to get them out of here, you'll hear some ripping and some tearing, and that's the roots that are built into there, and it can be a little tricky. This company out of Grand Rapids, Michigan called Tine Pots makes a pretty cool little solution for that. They have fabric pots in all different sizes that come with snaps on the front. You can actually open these up and then actually take the pot right out of it, or empty the plant right out of it without as much tearing and as much trouble. So if you do want to do fabric pots from the start all the way to finish, I'd recommend checking out these kind pots on our website. Once you get into your containers, those first couple water ins, from anywhere from the first 3 to 5 waters, I'd really make sure to hit them hard with some of these beneficials and some of these root stimulators. That will really relieve transplant shock and also just help you fill your container up and get back to full speed as quickly as possible. Some of these real popular root stimulators, Roots Accelerator, Rapid Start, Humboldt Roots, Power Clone, all these are great solutions to make your roots just explode into that next container that you just transplanted into. And then also I would use something like the Great White Shark or the Organism or the Azos, any of these products that are beneficial fungus, bacteria that will really help the root system expand itself even further. And then also, once again, relieve transplant shock. You can also use these powders to dust the root systems or put that into the hole that you're about to transplant into, and that'll really, also get a really good direct contact from the roots to these beneficials. So yeah, I hope this video helped you guys out. We have all this stuff available on our website. Once again, just keep in mind, if you can transplant from smaller up to your bigger pots and see if that, gives you a little bit better momentum in the long run. So we'll see you guys next time, and have a good one.